The year 1933 stands as a stark turning point in the narrative of the 20th century, a year that would see the world teeter on the brink of monumental change. The world grappled with the lingering effects of the Great Depression, a devastating economic downturn that had left no corner of the globe untouched. This crippling economic crisis fueled political and social unrest, as people everywhere struggled to survive amidst widespread poverty and unemployment. Amidst this backdrop of uncertainty and despair, a series of pivotal events unfolded, reshaping the global landscape and setting the stage for future conflicts and transformations. Protests erupted in cities around the world as citizens demanded change and leaders sought to navigate the turbulent waters of the time. From the rise of totalitarian regimes to groundbreaking cultural achievements, 1933 left an indelible mark on history. It was a year of contrasts where despair and hope coexisted, and where the seeds of future conflicts were sown. The year began with a palpable sense of anxiety, as the world watched and waited to see what would come next. The global economy remained mired in a deep recession, leaving millions unemployed and desperate. Breadlines and soup kitchens became a common sight, as people struggled to find their next meal. Political extremism was on the rise, fueled by widespread dissatisfaction with the existing order. Radical ideologies gained traction, promising solutions to the seemingly insurmountable problems of the day. In Germany, a charismatic and ruthless leader named Adolf Hitler seized control of the government, promising to restore national pride and prosperity. His rise to power marked the beginning of a dark chapter in world history. Across the Atlantic, a newly elected president, Franklin Delano Roosevelt, took office in the United States, vowing to lift the nation out of the depths of the Great Depression. His New Deal policies aimed to provide relief, recovery, and reform, offering a glimmer of hope to a beleaguered populace. 1933 witnessed the sinister rise of the Nazi Party in Germany, a development that would have catastrophic consequences for the world. This year marked the beginning of a dark chapter in human history, one that would lead to unprecedented destruction and suffering. On January 30th, Adolf Hitler was appointed Chancellor of Germany, marking a turning point in German history. This appointment was not just a political shift, but a harbinger of the totalitarian regime that would soon grip the nation. Hitler, a master of propaganda and manipulation, exploited the economic hardship and political instability of the Weimar Republic to his advantage. The Great Depression had left Germany in ruins, and the people were desperate for a savior. He promised the German people a return to greatness, blaming their woes on internal enemies such as Jews, communists, and liberals. His rhetoric was filled with promises of revival and national pride, which resonated deeply with a populace yearning for stability and prosperity. The Nazis' ascent to power was swift and brutal. They wasted no time in implementing their radical agenda, using violence and intimidation to silence opposition. In February, the Reichstag fire, a suspicious blaze that engulfed the German parliament building, provided Hitler with a pretext to consolidate his power. This event was a pivotal moment, allowing him to push through emergency decrees that curtailed civil liberties. Blaming the fire on communists, Hitler used the incident to suspend civil liberties, arrest political opponents, and establish a climate of fear and intimidation. This was a calculated move to eliminate any threats to his burgeoning power. In March, the Enabling Act was passed, granting Hitler dictatorial powers and effectively dismantling the Weimar Republic. This act allowed him to enact laws without the consent of the parliament, paving the way for his total control over Germany. Germany was now firmly in the grip of the Nazi regime. The once democratic nation had fallen under the shadow of a dictatorship, setting the stage for the horrors that would unfold in the years to come. The world watched in apprehension as Germany, under Hitler's rule, began its descent into tyranny and war. The events of 1933 were just the beginning of a tragic era that would leave an indelible mark on history. While Germany descended into darkness, the United States embarked on a path of recovery and reform under the leadership of Franklin Delano Roosevelt. The contrast between the two nations during this period could not have been more stark. As Germany grappled with the rise of totalitarianism, the United States sought to rebuild its democratic foundations and restore hope to its citizens. Roosevelt, inaugurated as the 32nd president on March 4th, inherited a nation reeling from the Great Depression. The economic collapse had left deep scars on the American psyche, and the new president faced the monumental task of healing a wounded nation. Millions were unemployed, banks were failing, and the American dream seemed to be slipping away for many. The sight of long breadlines and closed banks became all too common, symbolizing the despair that had gripped the country. Roosevelt, however, projected an aura of confidence and optimism. His charismatic leadership and reassuring presence gave the American people a renewed sense of hope. He believed that with the right policies and collective effort, the nation could overcome its challenges. In his inaugural address, he famously declared, "The only thing we have to fear is fear itself." These words resonated deeply with a populace desperate for reassurance and direction. They marked the beginning of a new era of American resilience and determination. Roosevelt's New Deal was a series of programs and reforms designed to provide relief, recovery, and reform to the beleaguered American economy. This ambitious agenda aimed to address the immediate needs of the suffering population while laying the groundwork for long-term economic stability. He created new government agencies, such as the Civilian Conservation Corps, which provided jobs for young men and helped to conserve the nation's natural resources, and the Works Progress Administration, to put people back to work. These programs not only provided immediate employment, but also contributed to the nation's infrastructure and cultural development. He implemented financial reforms to stabilize the banking system and restore confidence in the economy. The Banking Act of 1933, also known as the Glass-Steagall Act, was a key piece of legislation that separated commercial and investment banking to prevent future financial crises. And he introduced social welfare programs, such as Social Security, to provide a safety net for the most vulnerable Americans. This landmark program ensured that the elderly and disabled would have financial support, reflecting Roosevelt's commitment to social justice and economic security for all. Beyond the realm of politics, 1933 left its mark on the world of culture. In film, the iconic monster movie King Kong premiered, captivating audiences with its groundbreaking special effects and enduring tale of beauty and the beast. The film's success demonstrated the growing power of cinema as a form of mass entertainment and cultural influence. In Germany, however, the cultural landscape was being reshaped by the heavy hand of Nazi censorship. On May 10th, university students across Germany, spurred on by Nazi propaganda, participated in a series of book burnings. Works deemed un-German by the Nazi regime, including books by Jewish authors, pacifists, and political dissidents, were tossed into bonfires, symbolizing the regime's assault on intellectual freedom and its desire to control the narrative of German history and culture. Section 5. Beyond Borders International Events of 1933. The year 1933 also witnessed significant developments on the international stage. In January, the first commercial flight between Australia and New Zealand took place, marking a milestone in aviation history. The flight, operated by Qantas and Union Airways, reduced travel time between the two countries from days to hours, symbolizing the shrinking world brought about by advances in technology. In Poland, a team of cryptographers achieved a breakthrough that would have profound implications for the outcome of World War II. Working in secret, they managed to break the Enigma code, a complex encryption system used by the German military to transmit secret messages. This intelligence coup would prove invaluable to the Allies during the war, allowing them to decipher German communications and gain a crucial advantage in the fight against Nazi Germany. Section 6. Seeds of Conflict, 1933's Ominous Foreshadowing. While these international developments offered glimpses of progress and innovation, the events of 1933 also cast a long shadow, hinting at the conflicts that would soon engulf the world. The rise of Adolf Hitler and the Nazi Party in Germany, fueled by nationalist fervor, militarism, and a thirst for revenge for the perceived injustices of the Treaty of Versailles, posed a grave threat to European peace and stability. The international community, still recovering from the horrors of World War I, was hesitant to confront Hitler's aggression. The League of Nations, formed in the aftermath of the Great War to prevent future conflicts, proved ineffective in the face of Nazi Germany's expansionist ambitions. Appeasement, the policy of making concessions to Hitler in the hope of avoiding war, only emboldened the Nazi dictator, paving the way for the outbreak of World War II in 1939. Section 7. Echoes of 1933. a lasting legacy. The events of 1933 continue to resonate in the 21st century. The rise of totalitarian regimes, the dangers of unchecked nationalism, the importance of protecting human rights and civil liberties, and the fragility of peace are all lessons that we can draw from this pivotal year in history. The Holocaust, the systematic genocide of 6 million Jews by Nazi Germany and its collaborators, stands as a stark reminder of the horrific consequences of hatred, intolerance, and the erosion of democratic values. The stories of the victims and survivors serve as a powerful testament to the resilience of the human spirit and the importance of fighting against injustice and oppression. Section 8. Learning from the Past, 1933's Lessons for Today. As we navigate the complexities of the 21st century, it is imperative that we learn from the mistakes of the past. The events of 1933 serve as a cautionary tale, reminding us of the importance of vigilance, courage, and a commitment to democratic principles. We must be wary of the allure of extremist ideologies that prey on fear, division, and resentment. We must defend the rights of minorities and marginalized groups, and we must work together to build a more just, equitable, and peaceful world. Section 9, Conclusion 1933, a pivotal year in history. 1933 was a year of profound change and upheaval, a year that set in motion forces that would shape the course of the 20th century. It was a year marked by both hope and despair, by progress and regression, by the best and worst of humanity. As we reflect on the events of 1933, let us remember the lessons learned, honor the sacrifices made, and strive to create a future where the horrors of the past are never repeated.